Okay, this is the Rumpelstiltskin hat. Maybe you've seen it before when I've been talking about Rumpelstiltskin, the king of the imps. So, what do we want to tell you? Land of imps? Mostly, we're going to tell you, let's go for a rarely heard from talk from not Rumpelstiltskin, but maybe a different kind of being. Namely, no, and it's not going to be Jacob being. It's going to be, no one's coming, 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 no one's coming. Sorry, it's going to be Rumpelstiltskin. So, what do we know about Rumpelstiltskin? He's a fifth dimensional dark elf, also known as the King of the Imps. And he has got a TV show called Once Upon a Time. And once upon a time, he uses some magic to take a bunch of fairy tale characters out of their fairy tale realms and put them into Storyville, Maine, which is a human town in the human world. What else do we know about the human world? The human world is phony baloney. I mean, you're a human if you're watching this, but the world is not as it seems. I mean, you go to high school or college and they're going to tell you everything is perfectly logical. You live in a little tiny spot of dust that revolves around an enormous sun once every 365 days, also known as a year. And by the time you get to be about 90 years old, you're probably either going to be in a nursing home or dead. So, what else does that mean? Well, they don't tell you too many other things. And most of you, when you get here on the planet, don't know anything other than what you're told by your parents and teachers. So everyone is wandering around in a daze, not knowing anything except they've got to make the rent and they got to get some money together to buy some groceries. And so we had the Parker Brothers board game in the let's say the 1970s called Payday, which is all about human life. You get a job, and then you've got nothing but bills to pay. And you do that for your whole life, and then you reincarnate and do it all over again, and all over again, and all over again. And so it's a pointless game until you become what's known as enlightened, and then apparently you're free to either come back and play the game again or not. Who is going to enforce whether you get to go here, there? No one knows. It's all what we call stagecraft. In other words, they're hidden beings who don't want to make themselves known to you right now because they're nasty things. They're also known as the Predator in Carlos Castaneda's books, The Predator and the Predator's Mind. Okay, it's not really in this particular book, Art of Dreaming, but it's in he's written very many books. But he said that you live in a predatory universe and the predator has given you its mind. What? Yes, the mind that you're using, the carnal mind that I mentioned in my previous video by Joel S. Goldsmith, called it the carnal mind. It is not any kind of a higher mind. It is an animal mind. And it is all about, well, what does the... someone also wants to call it the mitote if you listen to Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote a bunch of books. The mitote, it's basically monkey mind. It's garbage mind. But it is what the predator has and what the predator has given you because you are food for the predator. The predator is eating your awareness, according to Carlos Castaneda, or Don Juan Matus, who was a character in one of his books. Where else do we want to go? Rumpelstiltskin is not coming to the front, and basically, I've told you everything you need to know about Rumpelstiltskin. How did he get to be this way? Apparently, there was a charm that gave him this power. It's also known as an amulet. It wasn't a very nice thing. He was a human that was having a very tough time because there was all kinds of other bad magic around. But he ended up getting affected by some kind of a curse or something, but it gave him a lot of magic. And so how's that related to us today? Well, are we in a magical world? Yes. Are we in? It's specifically a magically created world. What is magic? Magic is not physical. So if you get a hammer and nails and some wood and you make a treehouse in your backyard, that's magic to the children that get to go up into the treehouse. But we don't call that magic. We call that carpentry. Putting beings into a world, I think that's magic. In other words, it's superhuman. Humans can human. Well, sometimes you can see people do magic tricks. I don't know how they do them, or spectacular things, spectacular. So, I don't know. Where's the dividing line between human and magic? Well, I don't know. Humans just innately know if something is magic or not. And the other thing you always must remember is that sufficiently advanced technology and magnetic disturbances in the force, also known as, can't say anything other than you yourself and you alone can understand nothing, because I'm trying to get you even further into a whirlwind of I don't know what you're talking about, Rumpelstiltskin. I don't know what this is. I'm just going around and around and around. So, sufficiently advanced technology and magic are indistinguishable. Arthur C. Clarke, the science fiction writer, said that. And if everything's happening in consciousness, whether it's happening with a hammer in your hand, hammering a nail, or someone behind the scenes is playing the role of the Wizard of Oz, it's all being done in consciousness. So is it magic or not? Let's scrap the term magic and we'll scrap the term technology and let's go right to consciousness, because that's basically ground level reality, consciousness, awareness, and apparently there's some predators that want to eat your awareness, according to Carlos Castaneda. Is it true? Are they farming you to get your energy? Well, that's a different story. Who talks about that? Well, it's this idea of loosh demons, Loosh, a term coined by Robert Monroe, who is the Monroe Institute. He was doing out-of-body travels. What else do we want to talk about? Well, I can't get you very far from this. It's mostly to do with you being in a... Is it a game? Is it a trap? Is it the Matrix? Is it a divinity? Is it a carnal mind? Is it a predator's mind? Rumpelstiltskin, if he was here at the front, would tell you, don't be too concerned. Because anytime you get your mind too much wrapped up in anything that's mental, you'll get into a trap. And again, you'll get into a whirlwind where I don't know what you're talking about, because the mind's not too smart. And it's just like a whirlwind, it's a Tasmanian devil, this whirlwind of dust all around the mind, and the mind can't see because it's too much dust and there's too many words. Too many words is something Rumpelstiltskin would say to you. Too many words. And I've already given you way too many words. Don't be too concerned means go meditate on what I've told you. Clear your mind of everything, because from the silence you'll find peace. And even if you don't have an answer to all of my crazy ramblings, at least you'll have peace, and you will value peace. It is a very valuable commodity when you have got nothing but a bunch of crazy monkeys inhabiting this planet. I'm Harry Weaver with Rumpelstiltskin for another update.